Jeff with 1023 XLC, and today I'm joined by Rabbi Fine. He heads up 2econd Wrestling, and they actually have a show coming up this Thursday. Now, they normally do these family shows, but this one's going to be 21 and older. It's going to be in Highwood. It's going to be at Kings and Convicts Brewery, and it's going to be a great time. It's an amazing card. It's just completely stacked. So without further ado, Rabbi Fine, what's the good word?
Things are okay. Jeff, it's been good to see you and hear from you again. No, we're super excited about the show. The week of it for a promoter is like all in and networking as much as possible. I brought out flyers to different restaurants on the street of the brewery this week. There's also like a taco fest going on down there. So we're going to try to pass out some flyers during Taco Fest as well. Okay. It's a really cool venue. They have great beer. In Minnesota, you learn to become a little bit of a beer snob because it has like the most microbreweries per capita. So I can't drink a Miller Lite. I don't think I could. It's like, I don't mean it like, no, if Miller Lite wanted me to drink a Miller Lite and sponsored the show, we'd fully do it. Let me tell you that. But what I mean by that is like, what comes out of Minnesota are these great, flavorful, incredible beers. Like you don't want more than one. It's like a dessert almost. And so Kings and Convicts has some good beer, and it should be a great show.
Great. Now, if I'm looking at the card, and you've got some pretty great talent coming in, and a lot of first timers too. So why don't we talk about some of those performers that will be there on Thursday night?
Sure. Yeah. You know what? I'm a sucker for like some of the old school WWE people. We've had that sort of theme throughout our show. We have at least like one of those talents come through most of the time. So Gangrel is coming. He has been such an awesome guy to work with, and we're ecstatic. And then Chelsea Green. Really, we have Billy Starks as our champion. She is taking the entire independent wrestling scene by storm. She's a prodigy. She's going to have the pick of what she wants to do when she graduates, whatever she decides, whether it's college or high school, whenever she decides to do this as a career, if she does, right? And I just made a conscious effort to say, okay, who hasn't Billy faced, and who do fans want to see her face? And not just for the title, but in general, I want the title to mean something. I want the people who come in and have a shot at it to mean something. And the number one name on our list was Chelsea Green. I can't put, to be honest with you, when I received the email back, I was ecstatic. She has been, in many ways, my favorite person to work with so far, and giving of herself and her time. I'm excited to watch that match. I've joked about it on Twitter a few times that sometimes most of the matches we build for the fans or for the card to make sense and story. I'm just being honest. I want to see that match. It's never happened. If I don't book it, maybe it never will happen.
Right.
And so I think no matter who our champion is forever, we'll always do our best to provide that headline match, and that will make us special. This won't be something that this will be we want the main event to really mean something. We want the belt to mean something, and I don't think that could mean too much more. I think Chelsea Green is, the best wrestler on the independent scene, and she's not even independent. I mean, she has contracts. So how do we book those types of caliber athletes and performers? And she's the top. So those are standout. We have some returning. Of returning people who are sort of constant in our shows. So Derek Corbin will be on the show, some of our regulars. He's the bane of my existence. Can't stand the guy. And then Eric Cannon will be on the show. We have some Dan the Dad and Warhorse who have been part of 2econd Wrestling before. We're very excited to have them back. I imagine they'll be important parts of our show forever, whether they're booked on every show or not. And then we want to also fill in, Corey O'Neill's back from Texas. And, we want to fill in some of the wrestlers that people haven't seen before that makes 2econd unique. There's some great companies in Chicago. I think we spoke about that last time.
Yeah.
And what's going to make 2econd different? We're bringing up a whole carload of people from Texas that we're excited to have. Killer Kate is on the WOW Women of Wrestling show that's coming out. We're excited to have her. Emmy Camacho is an up-and-coming wrestler. She's only 18 in Texas. And then, locally, David Ali, who's just moved to Chicago. We're excited to have him for the first time. Jackson Larkin, who we are really excited about and should play a large role in 2cond's future. And Heather Monroe, who I've worked with before, but now resides in Chicago, Illinois. So it's a little easier to have her around for the shows than, wherever she was before, Florida, California, what have you. But I'm excited to have her. So it's a great card. We're excited, I think we tweeted out today a lot of the things that happen at a wrestling show. It doesn't just happen in the ring. And if it does, it's not just the talent. Our referees have been consistent. We love Derek Martha and Clark Feldman. John Manning's back. We've worked with Val Capone in the past, and we've loved both of them. And Mouse taking pictures. I mean, really, and then we just have For Sure Entertainment, and Ryan Levin is just the best for music and sound. We're ecstatic about him. We just get really excited to work with good people, and the brewery too. Like Kings and Convicts is a great place. It's sort of the only problem with it. This is the truth, Jeff, is that I'm sort of giving away my hidden secret of the North Shore, which is like it's a very sort of hidden, this really cool brewery that I found by chance, and then went up to them and said, "You guys want wrestling?" They're like, "Yes, we love that idea." So it's like now I'm a little worried that like maybe it's not so hidden because we've publicized it a lot, but I'll still go back. So it's all things are clicking, and we're excited about the show.
Yeah, and it's in a great area too. Highwood is one of the like gems of the North Shore for sure, and it's kind of like understated. So yeah, you're kind of getting in, I think, at the right time because things are definitely ready to kind of, get a lot more publicized out there for sure.
Highwood is where you go and like you don't want to go to the city, but you want that same feel. There's a distillery, there's breweries, there's there's like this place called Beer Miscuous down the street, which like you bring your own beer. Or no, I think they have different types of beer, but they're all I haven't been there yet, but I've heard great things. There's tons of restaurants. There's also going to be Celebrate Highwood has Taco Fest that night, so there's lots going on in the area. Ice cream shops, there's places to take kids. I mean, we go down Highwood all the time, and we're we saw it as like, this is where people go out on the North Shore. And Arlington Heights is another place we may do a show in the future because it has it has some of these cool.
Yeah, I lived there for a while. It's a great place. It's awesome. Yeah,
and and if they get the beers, then for sure everyone's going to Arlington Heights. Although the city's not going to be so thrilled about that one.
Yeah. So great things going on. 2nd Wrestling. Make sure to follow 2nd Wrestling on Twitter and Facebook. It's 2nd. The S is replaced with a numeric 2. 2nd Wrestling. Make sure you're checking it out. Great talent that's coming there, like you said. WWE icon Gangrel's going to be there. Chelsea Green, who's doing everything, it seems like. Everywhere you look as far as the wrestling world is concerned, Chelsea Green's out there with Matt Cardona doing their thing all over the place. So it's going to be a great time.
I am going to warn Chelsea that if she meets my wife at the show, they may have a battle between which husband is more ridiculous at buying toys. So I he probably is worse than me. No, I know he's worse than me. But
okay.
I have a problem too. I just don't think I've invested as much money as he has.
Oh, really? So what's like the last purchase that you had?
I just went to a baseball card shop. So I have a card collection and then toys. What's the last toy? It's funny. It is a Goldberg wrestling toy, but it's not because I was looking for it. I actually bought it for this program I was running about Jews and toys.
Okay.
Because Jews are behind a lot of toys that we have, which is not what we're talking about today, but like the teddy bear and Barbie and the Magic 8 Ball. So it's kind of like random. So I did this like whole education thing. I have, you know what? I bought I realized I didn't have any Blackhawks in my collection of toys, so I bought a Jeremy Roenick and a Chris Chelios starting lineup ones, and I unboxed them. I had to have I had to play with them.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are probably the most recent ones that I bought.
Okay, it's a good era for the Blackhawks.
Oh yeah.
As we're entering a different era for the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Right
I
about
don't
now.
know what's going on with them. You know, admittedly, I'm a diehard White Sox fan, diehard Bears, Bulls, Illini. Blackhawks, when they're good, I'm watching every game. When they stink, I'm not watching every game. I just don't. It's just, it's fifth on my list. It has been bizarre. I think they did the right thing by signing Kane and Taves to these long contracts because they had to, but it also cost them Panarin and others. And now they got to retool. They're not going to. I mean, it would be a shame if Kane left. He is an icon, and he still got it.
Mm-hmm.
But they just have so much money wrapped up in so many and few guys. It seems like it's going to be hard to rebuild.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's kind of like the Chicago thing. It seems like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the Chicago thing that we're talking about now is what Second Wrestling is doing at Kings and Convicts in Highwood on Thursday night. So you have the show, and the name of the show again?
It's called Walk This Way.
Okay, how did you come up with that particular name?
It's a good question. All of my major shows will be titled after a biblical reading in order.
Okay.
So because I'm a rabbi full time, that's why it says Rabbi Fine. The first show is Genesis because that's what we start with, or it goes creation, and that's what we start with.
Mm-hmm.
The second show is Flood Zone, like Noah and the flood, and Walk This Way is after Abraham, taking that walk. And I have show 4, the title already in my head. So whenever I release that, we do have a show in August in Minnesota.
Okay.
But the ones that are with venues or with organizations, we title them after the organization to make it more fun. But the ones that I'm purely running, those will all have some sort of biblical connection. So this is about Abraham's journey. Walk this way. That's basically what God's telling him to do.
Okay. I like it, man. I thought maybe you were like a big Run DMC fan, or
no. I've thought about that too. Like it played. I definitely, when I was Googling like different things that kept coming up, and I'm like, maybe I should do something with this. There's all these little nods. We just made T-shirts that say "Fine 613," right, instead of 316. People were like, "You spelled it wrong." I'm like, no. 613 is the amount of commandments in the Old Testament. People don't know that. So like all these little things about being a rabbi filter into the show subliminally.
Yeah, I like it. That's great, man. I'm telling you, like it's like the best thing. When I tell people like, oh, I'm speaking to this rabbi who runs this independent wrestling promotion, they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, it is okay. It's more than okay, because right about now we need wrestling more than ever,
Yeah, we need Jeff, I think every time I doubt, because this is not easy. It really isn't. And it takes a lot of time late at night because I do my job fully. I'm Mondays off actually. So I'm able to sort of navigate Wednesdays unless there's an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm doing it is because it breaks barriers. It brings everyone together. We can have a conversation. You can meet a rabbi where you don't have to go into a synagogue and be where I'm speaking on high and the people are below, right? Yes, you're in a ring, but it's it's theater. And then you can, a Jewish word, you can schmooze, you can talk and hang out afterwards. And so that's the whole point. And the people I've met and the way I've been able to break down and if someone has a question about Judaism, they have a place to go. I'm not joking. There are WWE wrestlers who I never thought I would ever talk to who will text me with a Jewish question. It's happened before, and I'm like, this is crazy. Or they have question in the locker room, or Rabbi, explain Israel to me from a Jewish perspective. Like all these conversations have to happen. If we're in our silos, They just won't. We've made some outreach, and I've had some conversations potentially about doing stuff with the Jewish and Black community. I mean, these are really, really important things, and the way we're doing them now is not working, and we have to figure out ways to make it work, because we're all living under one roof, and that roof is the United States, and we have to figure out how to be better.
For sure. That makes so much sense. It's funny when we talk about, wrestling, it's something that started off as like a goofy carnival sideshow type thing. But for fans like you and I, it warrants a conversation. You wear a wrestling t-shirt somewhere, you're having a conversation with somebody, right? Somebody stopping you and saying like, hey, great shirt, blah, blah, blah. It's a great conversation starter. And like, that's the thing. People aren't willing to have conversations now. And by you bringing up, starting a conversation because of wrestling or what have you, whatever way you can bring up a conversation and start having a conversation, it's a great way as far as I'm concerned, for sure.
Yeah. And that's why we lean in, this is our first one at a brewery. It's not going to be like, there's no death matches or anything. That's not my genre, but there will be, different types of interference and things like that in a way that, like, the wrestlers will have, I don't mean interference, like, I mean, like, the wrestlers will have more freedom in the ring. Whereas when we book the other shows, we say, like, there's a lot of kids in the audience, like, watch your language, that kind of stuff. And so this will allow me to expand a little bit. And the idea really isn't that I want to run 21 plus shows. I really don't. That's not really what drives me to do this. But my hope is that some of the people who come to the show bring their kids to the next one, right? That, like, they found us, they enjoyed what we did. There's no reason we can't, double down on bringing the whole family. And that's what we've done. I mean, the amount of emails we've received after our first two shows about having a place to go. And in fact, even as an aside, I had a conversation with Billy Corgan about this. Like, that having these kid shows is important, to have kids understand that there's shows and there's theater and there's imagination and there's yays and nays and boos and it's okay and it's all for fun. That's one of the reasons we had Coco Beware in the last show, is because, like, that's nostalgia for me. Like, and so many people there, they were just so excited. The Birdman, and unfortunately, the story about Frankie is sad. But, like, everyone's like, "Where's the parent?" And I think we'll do that again. Eventually, probably we'll have a show for sure in December, and then actually very late tonight, I have a meeting about a potential show in October. The goal was really only run 3 shows a year. We're going to end up running 6 this year, maybe 8. So I've surpassed what I wanted to do. But the goal really is how to get the kids to have an imagination, see a rabbi in a totally different environment, and then see the wrestlers as an opportunity to connect with, with something that's not on a screen. I mean, yes, we release shows on YouTube and they can follow. That's a part of it, but it's so that they come to the shows, right, and see us live. And
yeah, it's just like anything else. If you've never experienced it live, you need to. And a great opportunity on Thursday, 21 plus, to come out in Kings and Convicts out in Highwood, a great brewery that's out there. And like I said, a stacked card. When people think independent wrestling, this is kind of like a step up. I mean, this is definitely, you're going to get your money's worth for sure. Yeah,
this is originally we knew Gangrel was going to be on the show. Like, that was we booked him very, very early on. But I said, and this is what I said, who makes this card different, and where are those independent wrestlers that people don't get to see or that they love to see? I mean, Dan the Dad and Warhorse are so perfect for our audience, whether it's kid or adults. They are top notch. They're in the Midwest. We love what goes on in St. Louis. I was supposed to go out to a show this summer. I haven't been able to make it, but I would love to go out to Glory Pro and see them. We put our belt on. We did a match at Mania week with Dallas Fort Worth Wrestling. So we're open to like really. For me, it's really about getting out there. If someone has a great match for Billy, and they want to defend put the title on line, we're open to like we don't like as long as it's a good company that we trust. Like we'd love it. We want her to defend this and make it special. And whoever holds the title, we want that person to carry it on wherever they go. And so we're just excited. We have Cole Radrick's coming also, who's like known for his GCW stuff. What will happen when he's in a second ring and facing Dan the Dad, whose styles are? There's another match. Like I was always like, how have they not really wrestled that much? They're both in the Midwest, conflicting styles or personalities certainly, and so that should be another one on the card that I think people will talk. I think if I'm to guess, of course, Billy and Chelsea should steal the show because the two of them. But like Dan the Dad, Cole Radrick, like. My guess is that will have a decent amount of YouTube views. I think that's a match that people want to see.
So cool. Yeah, I'm telling you, like the best wrestling I find usually comes together from someone who puts it together who's a wrestling fan. And that's what's proven. It's been proven before in the past. It's what's being proven right now. And that's why the show, it's going to be a great time. I'm telling you.
Well, it's funny you say that because not only is Tony Khan a fan, but like Vince is a fan. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
We don't have to go down the Vince road. There's a lot going on with him right now.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Ted Turner wasn't the fan. He like gave it to Bischoff and he gave it to others to run. Paul Heyman was a fan. I mean, obviously, as smart as all these guys are, as smart as you can come business wise, right? But
yeah, you mentioned Billy Corgan before too.
Yeah, of course. Right. And so, yeah, I think, there's also a difference between a fan. We had one fan write in and say, do you take requests? We'd like to book some matches. And I was like, are you sponsoring a match? He's like, no, I just have some suggestions. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to tell you about that one. But
yeah.
That's why
wrestling fans are they're very polarizing, I would say. Is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good word. So, we try to give the fans our product in a way that gets them excited and coming back. I mean, that's been the biggest takeaway from these ticket sales for this show is that like it's definitely the first two shows were a lot of people supporting me. This show, it's a lot more people who are just coming to see the show, which is really cool and interesting.
Yeah, either way, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good time. So 2nd Wrestling, Walk This Way, Kings and Convicts in Highwood this Thursday. So be sure to check out 2nd Wrestling on Twitter, at 2nd Wrestling, Twitter and Facebook. And all the tickets are going through Eventbrite. Am I correct? That's the
tickets will be on Eventbrite. We'll still have some at the door because it's an open. So the brewery's kind of open. We wanted to limit the tickets online, but if there's walk-ups, unless there's a line a mile long and we have to cap it because of space, I'd love that problem. I don't think that's going to be the problem, but there'll be tickets at the door too. Same.
Awesome. Very cool. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. And thank you once again for doing what you do. Man, I'm telling you, like, you're not afraid to have conversations, which is one of the great things. And I'm sure it's how it helps you run amazing shows and stuff like this as well. So thank you for the forum. Thank you for everything that you're doing. It's a great thing. Yeah, Rabbi, it's awesome.
Appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Oh, one last question before we leave. Not really wrestling related, but what's going on with the White Sox?
They're playing well right now. Only a couple out. I think this is the perfect time to be going up into the hit 500 into the All-Star break. Lynn needs to get into mid-season form. Giolito hasn't had his greatest year, but overall, still in it and still in the thick of it. We probably could use a new manager, in my humble opinion. I know I'm not alone on this track, but like, what? Tell me a lineup that's Anderson, Vaughn, Robert, Abreu right now. You can't those guys. It's like 2 hits each a day. I mean, so and Mankata's starting to hit. Harrison's starting to hit. You know, they'll get Grandal back soon. Hopefully, he's always on base. They you know, the bottom of the lineup and some of their aces have to. I mean, Cease has been great. Kopech's been fine. Cueto's been amazing. They just need they need their 2 aces and a little bit of help from the bottom lineup, and they can win the whole thing if they turn it on. They have the talent.
Yeah, that was just a question I had to ask because, as you know, I'm a fan of the sports entertainment on the north side. So
I went to a Brewers game at Wrigley Field this year.
Awesome. Rabbi, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
2econd Wrestling, their show Walk This Way this Thursday. Kings and Convicts in Highwood. Make sure to check it out if at all possible.
See you there. Thank you.
Appreciate it.